Peace everybody, back with another video. This is Dr. Fauci just warned about this new COVID-19 risk. And of course, you know, Dr. Fauci is a fraud. I don't trust nothing he says. I don't believe nothing he says. Not at all. He lies. And as you can see, here is a lady who is a shill wearing masks and gloves. For what? As coronavirus cases continue to surge across the country, hitting record highs in many states, it is obvious that we are failing in the battle against the highly infectious and potentially deadly virus. According to Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's go-to infectious disease expert, there is one thing that all of us can do if we want things to go back to normal, and it involves self-care. Well, excuse me, Dr. Fauci, sir. This man has gone way too far. Allegedly, he kidnapped the entire world with a fake virus that don't even exist. Alright, that's what he did. That's what it was designed for. I mean, he says, it is obvious that we are failing in the battle against the highly infectious and potentially deadly virus. Well, you know who's the virus? The fake news media is the virus. And this is according to Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's go-to infectious disease expert. There is one thing that all of us can do if we want things to go back to normal, and it involves self-care. Well, we do take care of ourselves. We make sure there's doctor's appointments. We make sure our hands are washed and everything else. The best way to reopen the country and get back to normal is to be very prudent in protecting yourself from getting infected, Fauci, a key member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, said during a webinar with Stanford School of Medicine. That's a difficult message when people don't take something seriously, and we've got to hammer that home. Well, why should people take it seriously when you know all this crap is not real? Hello, think about it. You're being lied to by the fake news media. Open your brain. And he's saying now the best way to reopen the country and get back to normal is to be very prudent in protecting yourself from getting infected. Getting infected from what? Dirt? Is that what you want? Is that how we're going to get infected? By dirt? Really? Fauci, a key member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, said during a webinar. Well, Fauci doesn't know what he's talking about. He's gone a little bonkers, and he's way out of league with that. He says that's a difficult message when people don't take something seriously. Well, I'm not taking it seriously. Who is he? He's nobody. Fauci added that it is the younger Americans responsible for this recent surge of the virus who have the ability to stop it. Oh, so now you're going to pick on the younger Americans, huh, Fauci? That are supposed to be responsible for this recent surge of the virus. How is that possible? Fauci is not Fauci. Fauci is a fraud. And he says who have the ability to stop it. So the younger generation has the ability to stop it. How? What are you going to do? Tell us all to stay in our house? No. We've got to convince them that just because they get infected in the likelihood that they're not going to get seriously ill doesn't mean that their infection is not a very important part of the propagation of the outbreak. He explained, urging young people to look at not only their personal responsibilities but their societal responsibilities. Well, excuse me, but the social distancing, that's illegal. That's socialism. Wearing a mask, that's illegal. That's called control. Anything else you want to know about the Democrats, please let me know, because I'll be happy to answer them. And he says we've got to convince them that just because they get infected and the likelihood, and they're not going to get seriously ill, doesn't mean that their infection is not a very important part of the propagation. So Fauci is admitting that this whole thing is a propaganda that he's doing to us. So he's been scamming us for months, and he's still scamming now. Although you may not get sick, almost certainly you're going to infect somebody else, who almost certainly infects somebody else, and then you will get a vulnerable person who will be sick, who will go to the hospital, who might die, he continued. Who's going to die from a common flu? Who's going to die from that? Ain't nobody going to die from a common flu. He also says, although you may not get sick, of course we're not going to get sick. People who do well, have healthy immune system, and have antibodies to help protect all these viruses, that you have over 380 million viruses in you, by the way, and every day your immune system fights them off. And he says, almost certainly you're going to affect somebody else. Oh, who are we going to affect? The plants? Will almost certainly affect somebody else, and then you will get a vulnerable person. Oh yeah, keep dreaming, Dr. Fauci. Who will be sick? The only people that are allowed to wear masks are healthcare workers, not patriots. Fauci also pointed out that it was our country's resistance to entirely shut down and reopening strategically that was much too rapid, that resulted in a resurgence of cases. Well, excuse me, while Fauci kidnaps the entire world with this fake virus, he made people lose their jobs. He made people close down their small businesses. I mean, what more can you say about this clown? He thinks he knows everything, but he doesn't. He's making sure nobody goes back to work ever. And while Donald Trump is fighting for our freedom all by himself, that he's getting rid of all these fake scientists and that. We did not shut down entirely, and that's the reason why when we went up, Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said, we started to come down, and then we plateaued at a level that was really quite high, about 20,000 infections a day. 20,000 infections a day, really, Fauci? What planet are you from? Oh yeah, you must be from planet Nebula. And he said, oh, we started to come down, and then we plateaued at a level that was really quite high. No, that's a lie too, because all the models that he's been using, he's been getting them from his college colleague. Yes, thank you. He got them fake models at a college. And Burks is no angel either, because she needs to go too. As for yourself, no matter where you're going or how you get there, wear your face mask, social distance, wash your hands frequently, monitor your health, and to get through this pandemic at your healthiest. Don't miss these 37 places you're most likely to catch coronavirus. Oh yes, so he wants people to keep wearing a mask for control. He wants everybody to keep social distancing. That's socialism. And to wash your hands frequently. Excuse me, sir, but don't you think you ought to gone too far enough? He wants everybody to stay in their house. This is what he wants. He wants everybody to stay in a house. You can't go out. You can't even go to a store because you got to have a mask. So that means you got to stay in the house. Well, excuse me, Fauci, sir. I am not sick and I don't have it. And believe me, I would not want to be tested with that garbage that they shove up your nose. So I'm not sick. I only get a common cold twice a year, spring and fall. Summer and winter, I am fine. I'm not the one that's over here kidnapping the entire world while Fauci's over here getting away with everything that he's been doing. He's the one who kidnapped this entire world. And now it's up to us to fight for our freedoms because of this clown. Leave your comments below. I am out.